Get ghost, some of them skull get ghost. From the line them cross, them death get close. In a blood them boss, they body dead in a dust. Traps coming up from me force. Me is a man when no boss. Car when the rain get close, bullet a fly through nose. Only per life get lost, body shred and lost. People are dead by force. To kill is a must. That are the life me trust. Car the motor bullet when me save no. Not even soldier could have saved, you know. When me clap the drop, matic me no papi show. Bumbo wall boy them fin know. If you tell them me a walk with me guns, them me good me kill them anyway. Skull again, dash work.
Hello everybody. Welcome to We Are Who Our Ancestors Waited For. And we have a wonderful and exciting guest today and a more exciting show even lined up. We have Brother Francis Opai Tetteh on the line with us. And we have, of course, our wonderful co-host, Brother King Fajan Ajo. And we always like to start the show with introductions with our special guest. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Brother Francis. We're going to call him Brother Francis for the sake of this show. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Thank you very much for having me on this innovative program. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here. My name is Francis Opai Tetteh. I'm a Ghanaian from West Africa. And by way of education, I started my education in the central region of Ghana at the Dunkwal Secondary Technical School, where I studied agricultural science. I studied agricultural science because at that time I was living with my uncle, who is a cocoa farmer till date. So I had that foundation in agriculture. I actually encouraged me to go to school to study agric. So from the senior high school, I continued at Kwadaso Agricultural College, where I obtained a 3-year certificate in general agricultural science. Then I did my national service by serving the country Ghana for 1 year by teaching agricultural science in the senior high school. Then from there, I applied again to go to the University of Ghana to study yet agricultural science, where I majored in agricultural economics. Then after that, I came out to work with the Agromite company. It's a vegetable growing and exporting company, also in the eastern region of Ghana. And then from there, I applied again and went to teach at a Montessori school. In fact, it's a basic school. And in that school, what I did is that I was able to write 4 books with the kids. Before leaving that school, the first book, we were trying to trace the transatlantic slave trade. So the title of the book was The Transatlantic Slave Trade, The Mirror of Injustice. Wow. Then the second book is Cultural Practices versus Human Rights Violation in Ghana. We're trying to look at some of our outdated cultural practices, like giving a tribal mark to somebody to just give him identification when we have all manner of identification cards in the system today. So that was the cultural practices versus human rights violation in Ghana. The third book was more of a motivational book. All stars have scars. There is no military general without a bullet mark. Then the fourth book, we decided to look at the life and works of one of the former presidents of the Republic of Ghana, John Agyekum Kufuor. So I taught in that school for 6 years, and then I proceeded to the university to study yet another agricultural science. This time, I majored in agribusiness management at the Central University. Then I came out to work, then went back to the university again. Currently, I'm at the final year working on my thesis, doing MPhil in migration studies at the University of Ghana Center for Migration Studies. Yeah, so that is a little about me by way of background. Probably if you want to know more, we can do that later on the program. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Do you have your books online for people to find them?
Oh, not yet. Not yet. We have to, like I said, I wrote it with the school children. We want to revise them and then make them available for the global community to see. So we are going to revise all of them, all the 4 books, and then put them online.
Great, great. Because I just helped our brother Fajan put his books on Amazon for sale like about a month ago, and that's why we're doing this show. His first book that we're promoting is about America's democracy, which is what this season's show is about. So every episode, we're going to be asking questions about, you know, the importance of American democracy. So, Brother Fajan, go ahead and introduce yourself to our guests and tell them a little bit about your background, especially how you teach at schools as well.
Oh, that's great. Mr. Timothy, first of all, I must recommend you for bringing this brilliant mind on our show. It is just so awesome how you manage to find this caliber of people. Like I'm just listening, like, like, yeah, like all the episodes that we have been fortunate enough to host them, all of them, man, like you bring people on here that they just like blow my mind. And yeah, so I am just honored so much to be part of, yeah, to be part of this of this show here. And for the sake of the brother, my brother from West Africa. You know, Nigeria is actually from West Africa also, right? So
Yeah,
Ghana
right.
and Nigeria, yeah, Ghana and Nigeria is not a far distance. So I am just so glad to have you here and hearing your achievement. I am just so glad. Thank you very much. So let me not forget, let me introduce myself before we carried away by excitement. Okay, cool. So my name is King Fazan Ajo. I was born and brought up in Nigeria, the northern part of Nigeria. I did my high school education and university education in Nigeria. But right now I am lecturing in one of the colleges here in South Africa. I lecture physiology, and I'm an author also, just like Timothy have told you. He's my manager. He's my everything. So it is just awesome having you here, brother. And I look forward. Um, we're gonna have an awesome show. See, the essence of this show is actually to enlighten the black race, if not the black race, the whole African race of who we truly are. We are not just some people who are into music and entertainment and all of those stuff. We got great people, man, like people who have done a lot of stuff, people who like you, and a lot of people that Mr. Timothy have been bringing on the show. And anytime I'm part of this, I am just so proud. And anybody who is listening to this, the reason why we give the name, we are who our ancestors waited for. And you wrote a book about slavery. You know for sure that many years ago, what we're doing here is a dream that they all, like, it was just like a wildest dream ever, that they thought that it will happen or it will never happen. But fast forward to today. And that's why I put together a book called The 40 Voters Commandment, a guide to American democracy. It doesn't matter what anybody will say about American democracy. It has come so far to do things that other countries cannot do, like allowing a son of an immigrant like Obama to become a president. Right now, we are seeing the lady of campaigning to become a president. And these are the things that we should learn from. And I put that book together. Timothy helped me. We are promoting it like with all energy. The reason why we're doing that, so that even us on the continent will learn one or two things from America and not just criticize them. I thank you so much, my brother. And Mr. Timothy, thank you for bringing this man right here.
No problem. One question I wanted to ask was, are there any women as presidents or anything in Africa?
What's that?
Do they have any women as presidents of any countries in Africa?
Yeah, there was a woman president, and my brother will correct me, from Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But she's, and we also have one from Tanzania right now. When Magufuli died, she was actually the vice president, so she assumed the office of the president. So we have few of women presidents in Africa, and I stand to be corrected. So I don't know whether I'm giving the right information, but I think we had a female president from Liberia, and
Yeah.
currently we have one from Tanzania, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
That's like a dream right there come true, to have women as presidents in Africa, you know. And right now we have a woman running for president of the United States of America, and we never had that before. So that's history in itself that we're seeing unfold right before our very eyes, which is why I'm so proud to do this show at this time about America's democracy, and to be able to educate the world, not just the world, but Americans in general, about how important our democracy is, because we have taken it for granted all of our lives, you know. So I would like to
Yeah,
ask our
so
special guest, Brother
yeah,
Francis.
in Ghana, aside them women being president, currently we have one woman being the vice president or vice presidential candidate to the largest opposition party in Ghana. The Electoral Commission in Ghana is headed by a woman. We have had currently the Chief Justice of Ghana is a woman. So we have a lot of women playing pioneering role in the Ghanaian democracy today. So women in Ghana, women are doing very, very well. And not even just that, even in prehistoric Ghana, we have a woman like Yaa Asantewaa leading a war against the British.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
That's so
I
true. And
know a
Mr.
couple of women
Timothy,
that ran for
if you,
president. One was in Uganda, and another was in South Africa. I was actually her campaign manager. So, you know, I'm so excited to just be a part of this platform, to be able to talk about these things, like I said, to educate our people in America about how powerful we are to have such a great democracy. Because I don't think without democracy, we would be able to be who God truly made us to be, which is
Exactly.
to express ourselves. Because Brother Fajan always say, like, the things that we say in America, it'll get you killed in some countries. And
oh
some
yeah,
of the things that women wear in America, it'll get them killed in other countries. So would you like to add more to that, Brother Fajan?
yeah. So I actually wanted our brother to actually elaborate more about the advancement of Ghana democracy. I don't know. He has been away for so long. I don't know whether he knows everything that goes on at home right now in Ghana. But if we are to talk of few African states that are actually doing very well in democracy, we call Ghana. Remember, I told you about my movement, the 21st Century African, and most of my members are there in Ghana, and the way they are able to express what they feel about the government is not the same way you can do it in other African states. They are very close. They are very close to Nigeria. They can tell you what goes on in Nigeria. You cannot just say certain things about politicians in Nigeria. You'll be dead, and nobody will know your grave.
It's sad, and it's sad though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the looking at the theme for our discussion today, the importance of American democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, American democracy. We can have this conversation when we place it in the context of the influence of American democracy on Ghana, of what we have in Ghana today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, currently a lot is happening in Ghana. Ghana, even what we have today, we are not happy. We know we have not arrived. We are still evolving. Our democracy is evolving. Since 1957, we've been trying. We've had military takeovers along the way, but we are back to what we've called a fourth democracy, a Republican Constitution, which has survived military interventions up to date. And Ghanaians have accepted that the best way to go is multi-party democracy. There are aspects of it, the monetization of our democracy, and then the winner takes all. There are aspects of them that we know there are rough edges, and we are working so hard as people, not as political parties, as citizens of a nation. We are working together to make sure that the rough edges are smoothing. So that is it for now. Ghana is having election, our presidential and parliamentary elections on the 7th of December this year.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So campaigns are underway. The current government is doing its best, but I can assure you that Ghanaians are not democratic spectators. Ghanaians are active citizens. And we are really holding them to the values and principles of probity and accountability. Every person must be accounted for. Every human right must be respected and upheld. And all of that, every Ghanaian, our radio stations, our TV stations, our online media platforms, our universities, everybody is on board. We know it's our collective effort that will get the result that we want. So currently, Ghana, we can say we are doing well, looking at the volatile nature of the West African sub-region where we find ourselves. Because if Burkina Faso is being ruled by a military leader, Mali, Niger, Guinea, you can be sure that we are definitely located in a volatile region, the West African region. And if we are being able to achieve what we have achieved with democracy, I can assure you that Ghana, although we are not priding ourselves, we are not being that proud and complacent that we have arrived. No, we are still pushing to the frontiers. But like I said, if we are to come back to the topic, I don't know whether we are yet to go there. I want to look at the influence and importance of American democracy based on the influence on Ghanaian democracy. From pre-colonial days, what happened? During the colonial days, what happened? Then post-colonial days, what happened? During the military takeovers, and then what we have currently that we call the fourth Republican Constitution that we are under which we are operating our democracy now. Then we can understand how important American democracy is. Thank you.
Oh, that's no problem. Thank you for all that information. We're going to pause right now and go to a quick commercial break and be right back after this.
To arrest and deport a man who has been masquerading as Jesus in Kenya. 2 church pastors who invited him have also been arrested. These two have been hosting and moving with the controversial American national, convincing believers that the man is Jesus Christ and had finally come as he promised. In case you missed it, Jesus Christ visited the continent this weekend and there is a video to prove it. You could check out the video in the card above. The heavenly event started with a Kenyan pastor announcing that he had invited Jesus to come down to his church. And minutes later, while Jesus appeared, complete with long hair and wearing a robe. The congregation danced and celebrated on the streets of Caesarea, and of course the Son of God joined in. 2 pastors, one from Kenya and the other from South Africa, allegedly claimed to have found Jesus and are presenting the man to their congregation as the Son of God. Photos of the alleged male who they are calling Jesus were captured while he was speaking to a group of people in what appears to be a church, and the pictures are now making waves on the internet and questions are being asked. Kenya's government arrests and deport the white man who has been going around taking money from Kenyans to perform miracles and secure seats for them in heaven. The 2 church pastors who empower him have also been arrested. On behalf of this channel, once again, I appreciate you for watching. What do you think about this? Is the end of the world approaching? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to hit on that like button if you found this informative, and if it is your first time here on this channel, be sure to subscribe and click on that notification bell.
Welcome back, everyone. We're happy that you stay with us and always tuning in with us. We have a great show lined up and we're right in the middle of it. So what I wanted to ask the brother Francis is more history about the Ashanti tribe. Are you familiar with W.E.B. Du Bois?
Yes, W.D. Du Bois and George Padmore are colossal examples of what the diaspora can do in Africa. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was in the United States of America to study for his first degree, master's. It's only the PhD he couldn't raise money to pursue here in America. So he was at the Pennsylvania University and at the Lincoln Universities. You know, whilst he was here, he attended the Pan-African Movement conferences. And he really loved the intellectual capacity of George Padmore and also W.D. Du Bois. These were Pan-Africanist frontiers and pioneers. And they are members of the African diaspora community. So when Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah won independence for Ghana on the 6th of March, 1957, he invited these two gentlemen to come and live with him in Ghana. So Nkrumah was able to achieve what he did for Ghana and that of Africa, unification of Africa, because he stood on the shoulders of these two giants, George Padmore and W. Du Bois. I think we have not been able to tell the story of these two gentlemen enough in Ghana. So a lot of the contemporary, the new generation of Ghanaians are not too much aware. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah set up the Du Bois Center and also a research library in memory of Padmore. But I guess Ghanaians go there when they want to write, they are preparing for examination. That's where they go for some of these research centers. So yes, I know about Du Bois and his legacy for Ghana.
That's great, because I didn't know much about it until I became familiar with the Queen Mother Dolores Blakely, which I said is from the Ashanti tribe in Ghana, and started working with the Friends of the African Union. And actually, they're also working with, I don't know if it's, I think it's his grandson. I don't know if it's his son, Du Bois, who's still over in Ghana, I believe, and he's a king of the Ashanti tribe, I believe. So I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Du Bois or not, but I would like to know more about that history, because this is something all that's new to me. Even the information you just gave me, I wasn't aware of it. And it needs to be taught and told in the proper perspective so that American and African youth could know how closely related we are, because right now they're trying to say that we're divided when we're not. We're brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that is so. So I have a conversation I call the Motherland Diaspora Conversation. And
Okay.
what I'm seeking to do is to connect to the diaspora, let them know, hey, W. Du Bois and Padmore, two members of the African diaspora community, their influence is immeasurable. Everything Nkrumah did by way of decolonizing Ghana, and on that eve, he made a statement. We are going to prove to the white man that we are capable of managing our own affairs. We are going to manage our African identity and personality, and that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is up to the total liberation of the African continent. All these statements were based on the foundation that he had W. Du Bois and George Padmore as his mentors. These guys, like I told you, are Pan-Africanists to the core. They were looking for the total unification of Africa. They were looking at how to have a central military command for Africa, how to have a central bank for Africa, how to have Africa develop its own engineers to take advantage of our own natural resources. That was the mindset of the people. So if you go to University of Ghana, Nkrumah was building a science palace. If you are an African from anywhere of the world and you come to University of Ghana and you achieve a first class, you don't go home. You are automatically ushered into the science palace. With you, your wife, and your children, you are paid well. What do? You research, and that research will be connected to industry. And that was how Africa was going to be built. Within the space of 9 years, Nkrumah built over 332 factories and the biggest hydroelectric dam project in the whole world. The Kosomo Dam is the biggest man-made lake in the whole world as we stand right even as at now.
No, I'm so sorry to disrupt you. This is just a very interesting information, and for me, people like Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, and all of these people. There was a time we had a guest here on the show, and he was talking about the AU, and I think after Timothy heard what I said, he was like, why do King say that? Because when he made mention of AU, I unequivocally told him that that is the weakest organization on the continent, and it does not represent us anywhere. Now, when you talk of people like Kwame Nkrumah, people who had a vision, and they started this organization, the OAU, it was OAU at that time. And now I just want to ask you a quick question because I might forget. Do you think that what is going on right now, this meeting that these guys are always having at Addis Ababa every year, all of these so-called presidents of these states, do you think that these people are still following the visions of Julius Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, the people that were so passionate about uniting Africa? Because these guys, they knew one thing, that if we are united, we will not be treated the way we are being treated at this time. So according to you, do you think AU is anything similar to OAU that Kwame Nkrumah founded?
Well, thank you very much. Certainly not, because the dispensations are not the same. The time of Nkrumah, there is no online conversation that we can have it today. Everything you needed to do, you had to walk, you had to travel, you had to, so the dispensations are not the same, the time are not the same, the global politics or the geopolitical dispensation is also not the same. So things are not the same. Yes, I believe that AU, as it is right now, it is not in the best form. And it is because we, the African citizens, have allowed it. Yes, I can assure you that one of the biggest achievements of the AU for me is creating the diaspora as the 6th economic region of Africa, or let me say economic bloc. We have ECOWAS, West Africa, North Africa, Central Africa, Eastern Africa, Southern Africa. Now the 6th economic bloc that has been created and adopted by the AU is the diaspora. But the question is, how many members of over 500 million Africans in the diaspora, how many of them are aware of this gate that has been given to them, this opportunity that has been given to them? Because like I said, the diaspora can have a fantastic influence on the AU. The diaspora has lived with the other powers, the Asian powers, the European powers, the American powers, the Australian powers. The African diaspora has lived with them. We have stood at their best universities. We have worked in their environment. We have seen the implementation of their policies, environmental policies, economic policies. The diaspora, Africans in the diaspora have seen all of this. How are we harnessing this to make sure that the AU is the kind of AU we want to be? Is it that Russia Israel and Palestine are at war? So they will ask Ghanaians to donate soldiers, Nigerians to donate soldiers. We take them there, go and maim some of them, bring them back with questionable rewards. Is that what we want? Or we want an Africa AU that has a military command, an Africa Bank for Construction that can take over the building of our bridges and our roads? Is that what we're looking for? So I believe that, yes, Africa Union, when you compare it to the European Union, because I'm saying all this, I don't see why Africa Union should be there and the European Union should come and sponsor the drafting of Ghanaian migration policy. I don't see why the Africa ECOWAS should be there, and then the USA will come and give money for us to work on our own migration policy, and this was done by our own intellectuals, you know. So it is no more about of the AU, it's about we, the citizenship and the diaspora, who have allowed the African Union to be where it is right now. Because most of those guys we see at the African Union, look at the Cameroonian president. For how long has it been there? Look at some other people who are members.
Can you enlighten Mr. Timothy how long that guy has been in power?
Yes, when I was in primary school, we were asked to mention the presidents of Africa. We mentioned him. Now I'm doing my MPhil. I'm still mentioning him. See gray hair,
Yeah,
my beard.
yeah.
We are still mentioning him. So
He
it's
is still.
unfortunate, and not just him. There are other places as well that democracy should have worked better, but it's not. And I'm happy. That's one of the reasons why Sir Timothy and my brother, I will still go ahead and commend you for this initiative. Many people are disappointed. They don't want to talk about democracy. But if you think democracy is evil, try a military regime, a dictatorship military regime.
That is all I have been saying. Like some of these people shouting that democracy is not good. These are selfish, cold-hearted people. They want to think for people. They want people to live like slaves. The worst thing that is happening to us on the continent is people that look like us becoming our colonial masters.
Sure.
That's all it is, and that's why I always tell Africans they need to throw their TVs out, because the TV is ran by the Europeans to control the African mind. And the TV companies are the people that's paying and sponsoring the leaders to dictate what the Europeans want to their people. And so the people think that democracy is bad. No, your leader is bad. You have democracy to get rid of these leaders. That's what you were given democracy for, to be an informed voter, not to sit here and believe and go for whatever your leader tell you to. So I want to take a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll get right back into this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have long to be up here. My father would say I have enough time to make a sandwich. I wish I could speak a meal, but they only gave me so many seconds. But I just want to take advantage of this moment. About 5 years ago, I lost my wife to a brain aneurysm. And I remember sitting in the same auditorium just like you were. We were in Indianapolis, and me and her were sitting here, and I was watching a man come up there also and talk about how he lost his wife. And as I was sitting there in the audience, I was only married for 30 days at that moment. And I didn't know 11 days later I would lose my wife. So my job, we won't all, because I realized that death is a thing that happens in life. It's not a thing that happens to life. So my job is to go and tell everyone that is living to make life count. Make it count. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. And as you breathe today, when was the last time you took a big, deep breath? As I pulled my wife's monitor off and she took her last one, right now, take a deep one. Let it out. As long as you have that in your body, you got the Brady effect. That at any moment, I got time on the clock, I can come back at any moment. I know things happen in my life, but I can make a change at any moment. So I came here today to tell you, to encourage all of you that's going through a difficult time, that trouble don't last always. That I've never seen a cloud sit over one person's house for a long time. This too shall pass. It has to. So my job today to tell you all while you're here to endure this thing. We've been made to endure the night, but our joy will come in the morning. Thank you, guys.
So welcome back, everyone. Man, we're right in the smack dab middle of everything. This is a great show, great conversation we have going on about we have a democracy, but the people under democracy have a colonialized mind. It's like, just like the Bible said, the captors start worshiping the oppressor. The oppressed people become those who start oppressing other people. So it's all about that mindset. We start developing the European mindset. And I always say it's all about the language that you speak. If you're speaking a European language, it's like you automatically have to have a European mind, you know? And we have to get back to our native tongue. And we're always looking for something, what we call a common ground, for us to all rally around. So I wanted to speak upon Marcus Garvey. And his mission was for us, the Black people in America, to repatriate back to Africa. But that's what Black people don't want to do. And I'm glad the brother brought up the 6th region of the diaspora, and how our people don't even know about that. It's kind of like what I teach about how the Bible and today's time are just fulfilling God's prophecy. So part of when you say the sixth region, I look at that as God freeing us from our slave masters. It's like now we have the sixth region that is like Israel was in the Bible, because it states like Israel in the kingdom of heaven, it's all in our mind. And that's all like the sixth region is. It's like something for us to all be a part of as a people. And the sixth region is what actually created a space for African Americans to call ours that we could all benefit from, not just over here in America, but like you were saying, brother, we have Africans part of the diaspora in Australia, South America, Hawaii, the Pacific Island, even in the Caribbean. That's part of the diaspora. Wherever there's Black people at outside of Africa, it's the diaspora. But now we have the sixth region that's joining us all together, and how we could benefit from that. We can benefit from that. And what me and my team is working on is like, we own the diaspora, and we allow the Europeans and whoever to invest in what we're doing. And that was like the true passion. And I tell people, when Jesus said, whose face is on that coin?
Yeah.
People don't understand that. You're worshiping this coin. You're worshiping the dollar. That's why people are selling out our people, because they're selling us out for this dollar. It's like they don't understand what Jesus was saying, which most people don't understand. So I wanted to get back into the sixth region, because it's like with Marcus Garvey Constitution, I was asked to rewrite and bring people along to help actually rewrite Marcus Garvey Constitution so it applies to today's time, because a lot of the people that were part of the organization sold our people out and took what Marcus Garvey was doing and started creating all these other organizations instead of staying as one people. But now we have the sixth region to join us all back together. And we could utilize Marcus Garvey Constitution to all rally around that, use that as our common ground. Like, look, this is what our people are going to go by. Because I don't know if the AU has a constitution or not. And I'm an American, but as soon as I heard of the AU, I already knew it wasn't for our people. I don't have to listen to them to even know it's not for our people. I feel if they're not working with us, they're not for our people.
Exactly.
So
if you see the flag of the sixth region, we call it the sixth region of the EU, it's a bright star that is entering Africa through the west coast. It's like the star is entering back to Africa through tracing the transatlantic slave trade routes. So it's a beautiful star that is entering Africa through the diaspora. And I believe the chosen flag alone, and this flag was designed by somebody in Africa, is beautiful. The concept alone is beautiful. For over 400 years, what our Africans in the diaspora have gone through, generation from generation, it has built them a certain level of resilience. Yes. And this is the kind of thing that Africa needs. Don't forget, in the context of the African slave trade, the best were taken out.
That's what I said. I said.
We're taken out. Sometimes they pull it out. They use a hammer to hit your teeth. If they fall off, you are not strong enough. Go back. So the best were taken. And then the best is only 3% that survived the journey. Many of them died and were buried in the ocean. Many of them died out of the normal revolts, So only 3% of them survived the journey. So I can imagine the number of people that were taken out of Africa. And like I said, the creme de la creme was taken. They didn't need any feeble, lazy, unintelligent people. God, you needed a smart labor, at the time. So the best was taken out. So it was about time that the best will also have the way to come back.
I cannot agree with you more. I'm so sorry for cutting you one more time. Timothy will agree with me. This is what I have been saying. In the normal business sense, there is no way you can go to the market and buy a goat that is sick already. No. You buy the best.
Yeah.
You understand? I will really love to like get in touch with you, really in touch with you through Timothy. Because some of the stuff you are saying here, these are the stuff that Black people need to know. They just need to know. Even our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, they need to know. We are not saying that they should leave America, Europe, and come back to Africa. We know that our ancestors, their ancestors, were the people that built America. We know that their ancestors were the people that built Europe. But they should also know that there was a place that these people were taken. And just like the Jewish community, do you know that wherever you are as a Jew, you visit Israel at least once in a year?
Even Muslim.
Wherever you are as a Jew. And in African setting, we know about the blessings of your motherland. If somebody is in the foreign land and things are not going very well, they will advise a person to go back to their ancestral home. Just when you just touch your leg there. So these are the things that we need to push this for our brothers and sisters, wherever they are, to understand that when we say the motherland is deeper than just saying just language, it has a deeper meaning, and they should start connecting with the motherland.
Yeah, that's deep. I wanted to bring up something that I don't think Brother Bajan even knows. I was trying to help get a currency that we created, open up a bank in Africa. And they were telling me it's better to open up a bank in America first. I'm like, we already have the currency created. All we need is for you guys to give us permission to come over there and set up a bank to help Africa. Because soon as this bank open up, it's gonna help the economy out like almost overnight. Because the currency that we created, I was instrumental in creating. And so it's the ratio is 1-to-1 with the dollar. So whoever accepts this currency, you know how many francs and rubles and all that, how many of those it takes, even pesos, to make $1? You know, you need a lot of those. But for us to be able to open up our own banks around the world, it ain't just a currency. We open it up as a commodity.
So I'm scrolling. I'm trying to show you a campaign that I've been running for some time.
Okay.
I'll get the flyer and share with you. That's the African diaspora to set up the African Bank for Construction. Africa has now set up something called the African Continental Free Trade Area, or AFTA for short. The headquarters is in Ghana. This project is worth over $4 trillion. Whoa. This is a project that is knocking all trade barriers within the African community. You know, so because of this alone, we need to build new airports, new bridges, new roads, new seaports, new hydroelectric, new thermal plant, and all of that. That is massive construction opportunities. We need to build new airport, new subways, new train, railway lines, new universities, and all of that. That is massive construction. In 2019, I was in Beijing for the International Horticultural Expo, and I can assure you that the China Bank for Construction is doing magnificent job in China. And if there's the need for a bank in Africa, it should be a bank that is being introduced and managed and run by the diaspora. And that will make it very easy for you to bring money home for investment. The opportunities are there. you can own, even as of now, you can come from the diaspora and own a piece of Africa, which is very difficult to do in America. Owning a piece of America is difficult. But today you can come to Ghana, buy a piece of land. Well, they can tell you it's a leasehold for about 60-something years, but the moment you put your properties on it, it becomes your own. So in 2019, when I had opportunity to lead the Queen Aplam to Kansas City, and I was delivering a paper on the Dangbe people of Ghana at the Kansas African American Museum. One of the audience, who is the president of the African American Council of Elders, said, hey, why don't you build us a division within your kingdom so that we can also be part of you? So that statement, that small request, I took it back home, sat down with the king, explained things to him. And now instead of 7 divisions of the kingdom, 6 divisions of the kingdom, now there's a 7th one, which is called Waseno, and is dedicated for African Americans who want to come home. And the king has earmarked 500 acres of land to build a new city to integrate African Americans who want to come home. We don't want them to come home and sleep in hotels, go to the old slave castles, go and cry, dry their tears, come back to their hotels, pack their baggage and go home. No. If you are coming as African American, come home. You don't go and help and sleep in a hotel. You are not a tourist. You are a royal. You are coming back home. So come sleep within the community. Eat what we eat. We eat what we also eat. We teach you a language, the culture, the tradition. Just last month, I was here and I coordinated a family from Missouri who went to the Krobo Kingdom and they want to go through the puberty rites for their daughter, their 17-year-old daughter. And I can share the pictures with you as well. Beautiful program, beautiful project. And they came back emotionally healed, properly connected to their roots and their culture and everything. That's also the diaspora has a huge role to play in setting up. They shouldn't come and set up any other bank. Me, I'm proposing a bank construction because there's massive construction deficit in all of Africa. Even in Ghana, we have about 1.7 million housing deficits. That alone is business. And the Chinese are taking advantage.
Agriculture as well.
Yeah, agriculture, in pharmaceutical, in education, wherever government declares deficit is an investment opportunity. Wherever government declares deficit in education, in banking and finance, in agriculture, in pharmaceutical, in energy. In energy, Ghana, for instance, let me say Ghana, we have an average of constant supply of sunlight, 7 hours, uninterrupted supply of sunlight every day. But when our hydroelectric dam has a problem, our street lights go off. Sweden has about 4 hours supply of sunlight, but their street lights are all powered by solar. So we have a lot that we are not taking advantage of in Africa. And I still believe, I keep saying that George Padmore and W. Du Bois, these were 2 giants on whose shoulders Nkrumah stood. And Nkrumah was elected unanimously as the best African in the millennium, the past 1,000 years. Nkrumah was elected the best African.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because he stood on the shoulders of these 2 great men. And Nkrumah, some of the things he did, it was the implementation of the Marcus Garvey policy. Our black star, the black star in our flag, for instance.
Yeah.
The black star shipping line. I mean, a lot of the things Nkrumah implemented were cut out of Marcus Garvey's manifesto, you know. You understand?
I think Mr. Timothy is hearing you, man. Like Mr. Timothy is taking note of, like, I love what he just said, that if there is a bank that we need in Africa, is construction bank. The thing is this. If you, and I'm giving you a challenge, Mr. Timothy, the day that you are going to visit Africa, if we get in that aeroplane, what you will discover is that you can be able to count the number of Black people.
Yes.
The rest,
yes,
are white people, Chinese people, Asian people. Why are they all coming to Africa? Because it's what brother is talking about right now. There are just so massive opportunities that people don't even think about it, right? we here on the continent. We here on the continent are fighting for crumbs.
Crumbs, when you are royals.
Exactly. We are fighting for crumbs. It is not even nice to talk about, man. Like these people. Remember, I told you about the letter that I wrote to the Africans in the diaspora. Somewhere in the letter, I said, if you in the diaspora think you are under slavery, we are more under slavery on the continent than you guys are. Because even on our continent, there is a restriction for us. And I just imagine what will happen if the most powerful Black people on earth come back on this continent to take the rightful ownership of what belongs to the Black people. What will happen? Last time we had a guest here, he said something that I will never forget. He said, for one person to be eaten, another person will be starving. And this is what is happening right now. The other race are eating from our table and we are starving. How long are you the strongest Black people? I understand our ancestors sold your ancestors so bad, but then at the end of the day, let's look at the bigger picture here. There is no continent richer than Africa, and it will never be. But how come the people on the continent are the most poorest people?
Well, those days are coming to an end, and we're going to talk about that. I'll explain more about that after this here break.
Hey! And I'm on the block in New York, I'm really walking along. I did myself, said that every
Right now? I already have.
Welcome back, everyone. Man, we're at the end of our show, and I would like to talk about how the brothers were saying other people are eating off our table while we're starving. And I mentioned that those days are coming to an end, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the last guest we had on our show was Chief Albert from Samoa. And I've been working with him for over a decade now. And when we reconnected, he asked me that if there was any way that Samoa could partner up and do trade with African farmers. And he said that was 4 years ago because I hooked him up with some royals over in South Africa. And he said they've been talking ever since. He also said that his people bought a gold mine in Ghana and they want to help Africans. So it ain't just about coming over there taking, it's about coming over there and investing in the African people.
Yeah.
And it's easy to talk about doing things but what are you actually doing? I'm working with people that are actually doing. And I don't like when people are talking and talking and talking, but they're not doing anything. I tell those people to shut the hell up. I'm doing things that you're just talking about.
Yeah.
So don't try to overtalk me. I'm not going to debate you. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to talk to you like you're a damn fool for not knowing what you're talking about, because you don't know what I'm doing for our people. You don't know who I'm working with. You don't know the great leaders I'm working with. You don't know what they're doing. So you need to just shut up and listen, because we're doing some great things for our people. And it's disrespect, not to me, it's disrespect to the people that I'm working with for you to be talking about things that you don't know about. I know the great work that our people are doing. Like I said, I'm working with Marcus Garvey's organization. I'm working with Black mayors who go and travel through Africa every year, travel through like 5 countries every year. I'm working with a pastor who passed away, a great Bishop McKinney. He was sponsoring an orphanage and building schools in Africa. So we need to promote these schools and these orphanages over there in Africa that need help. We need to do things for people that are actually doing things and stop just talking. Because there's a lot of work being done for Africa, but it's not being promoted. We're actually about to do a march with the women of Haiti. There's about 2 million women in Haiti getting ready to march just because they're working with one of my business partners that helped start the bank that I was telling you about. So what I wanted to say, when you said pharmaceuticals, you said construction, and you said energy, but agriculture entails all of that. With agriculture, you have pharmaceuticals, you have energy, and you can't have agriculture without building construction, you know? So agriculture is the only one of those concepts that entails all and everything. And that's what Africa is, and what makes Africa so strong is the agriculture. So we can open up, when you say you want to open up a bank, we make the bank stronger by working with the Black farmers. You know, and then from there, we can open up a construction bank. We can open up a pharmaceutical bank. We can open up an energy bank, because it's backed by land, which is what the farmers have.
Okay, so
that we have.
Yeah, by way of explanation, yes, what I said is that there's a massive gap, construction gap. Even in agriculture, you need money to construct dams so that our farmers can crop all year round. In Africa, for instance, there's no snow, there's no winter. It's either dry season or wet season.
Exactly.
Dry season or rainy season. Yes. I mean, South Africa out, but where West Africa, where I live. So if you want people to engage in a whole year farming, a year-round farming, then there's a need for an irrigation dam, and that calls for construction. After producing your crop, you need to transport it from the farm gate to the market or the factory to be processed. That need roads, construction. So what I'm saying is that there is a massive construction gap in everywhere in Africa. Today, we have a free market area called the African Continental Free Trade Area. The headquarters is in Ghana. This project is worth over $4 trillion US. If we don't take advantage, the Europeans, the Chinese will. As we speak right now, European Union and then the USA are now training people in Africa how to access the African Free Continental Trade Area. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You know, so I am saying that the diaspora should take this initiative. I'm not saying I'm going to build a bank. I'm saying that I'm rallying the diaspora community to come back home and invest in setting up a bank for construction. It should be the African Diaspora Bank for Construction. Let's invest in the construction sector. That is how we can get Africa to develop. By the grace of God, We have the youthful population. Majority of African population is below 18 years and below. That's the youngest ever. By the grace of God, we have Africans who are well educated all over the world. Go to NASA. There is Dr. Olenu, who is in charge of America sending robots to Mars for those studies and everything. Is called Dr. Tetteh Olenu. He's a Ghanaian. The breakthrough in fiber optics so that you and I can communicate freely. Dr. Thomas Owusu, another Ghanaian, that breakthrough, you know. So a lot of Africans are well placed right now. But the truth still remains, as we speak, it is estimated that Ghana has over 22 million ounces of gold embedded in our soil, about 11 million carat of quality diamond embedded in our soil, about 3 billion barrels of oil under our ocean, and a lot of more things, you know. But when you have a situation, the government has signed a contract that the foreigner is exploiting all of this and giving the country 3% of the revenue. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
No.
If this 3% is going back to our Africans in the diaspora, I have no problem. The last time I checked, America alone has 56 companies operating in Ghana. America alone has 56 companies operating in Ghana. How many Ghanaian companies are operating in America? If you produce and you are exporting to America, they will come and tell you need a phytosanitary certificate, you need this kind of certificate. By the time you realize you don't qualify for anything, so you have to bring your goods back. The reason why I have studied agricultural science all my life, and I'm a bit quiet about agriculture. In Ghana, for instance, production has never been the problem. Agriculture production has never been the problem. The problem has been transportation, marketing, and improving the shelf life of the product.
True.
So if my father, my uncle who brought me up, grow cocoa, Ghana has been exporting cocoa since 1893. By 1911, Ghana was the world largest producer and exporter of cocoa. We maintained that position until 1983, when a nationwide bushfire consumed all our cocoa farms, majority of our cocoa farms, and we left that position to Ivory Coast. Currently, Ivory Coast is producing about 1.5 million metric tons of cocoa every year. Ghana is producing between 800,000 to 1 million metric tons every year. These two countries, we produce over 50% of the total world cocoa supply. But go and look at the poverty of our farmers. There's no insurance guarantee for any cocoa farmer in Ghana. So that is making the industry unattractive to the next generation.
Exactly.
Who want to dig for gold and they don't want to grow cocoa and oil palm and all of that. So in Ghana, for instance, it's not like people don't want to farm. The land is there, the environment is conducive, everything that you need, the land tenure system, everything is in place. But then you grow crops and you see with your own eyes your watermelon rotting because you don't have a buyer. You grow and you see your tomato rot because there's no buyer and no processing plant. You see what I'm saying? So these are the real dynamics in Africa. Africans want to remain at home and work. In the early 70s, we didn't have to come to Europe and America. If you want to make money, go to Nigeria. And my uncles came back home with Toyota vehicles and electronics. Nigerians were doing laundry. When their jacket and suits were dirty, they'll fly to London and go and do laundry and come back. That was the wealth of Africa. I'm telling you, what has changed?
Wow.
What has changed?
Wow.
So,
wow.
What I would like, it sounds like we need to have people and like yourself, both of you brothers, rally everybody around,
Exactly.
like you say, the construction bank, the energy bank. Let them know, look, we have an opportunity to have our own bank, which is what I was trying to do before, but I didn't have the right people. This was about like 5-6 years ago when we first started this currency. And since then, we've partnered with Bitcoin and other digital currencies. We're digital currency. Those other currencies out there, they're called cryptocurrencies because they're not connected with the bank. We're actually connected with the central banking system, and we're actually incorporated in Europe. And this is what makes us so strong, is because we're not against working with the central bank. They don't, so these digital or these cryptocurrency, they're kind of like frowned upon because they're not connected with the banking system. We're being welcomed in by all these different countries because we're not trying to hide anything. We're trying to work with everybody. We're humanitarians trying to help everybody. So people are not opposed to working with us. Even the Native Americans over here in America, they don't like the American dollar, but they like our currency because it's for sovereign nation, which is what the Native Americans have. And each African country is a sovereign nation. So all you guys have to do is like, look, we have an opportunity to have our own bank, but we need to have insurances in place. That's what you guys would come in at, because you guys are knowledgeable, like you were saying before, like, the crops are dying and there's no way to transport the crops. We need to build roads, not just build roads, but we need to build security systems up to make sure that when we're transporting dollars or we're transporting goods, that they're being protected. We need reinforced bulletproof cars and stuff, because I hear pirates over there are a huge problem as well. I have plans on building a train all from South Africa all the way to Sierra Leone. I've already mapped out the terrain and everything, and the weather, the geography and everything to see how it is, so that we could build a train. Also, I connected with South Africans to and learned that the shipping industry in South Africa and Durban is the strongest, best shipping builders in the world. So I want to work with South Africa to build ships for our people. We need all of these things so that we could do our own trade rules. We can have our own pilots and driving the planes, driving the ships, and driving the trains. Like they say, planes, trains, and automobiles. We need our own people doing this. And we have a currency now. That's why I say we're fulfilling God's prophecy when he gave us the sixth region and he gave us this currency. We put all these here things in place, and we are who our ancestors truly waited for. It ain't because we're just saying that, it's because of what we're actually doing. So I could make you guys responsible for the currency and implementing the currency in Africa. I have white papers where you could put your own title, like I'm this person over there, like you say who you want to be while we're building the bank in Africa. I'm gonna send you brothers the link to the bank so that you can go and do your own research about the bank. It's trading on the stock market right now, today. It's more than $1. So it actually rolls. They have been doing trade with pharmaceutical countries, and they trading with other countries. We need to start trading with Africans now. So, and it's nothing to it but to do it. It's just that plain and simple. The thing about it is just like our people have a colonized mind. We need to deprogram and then reprogram with what can be the future. That's why I like working with a brother King, because he has the 21st century African mindset. He doesn't have the plantation mentality of I have to follow what the colonials say and what the colonials do. No, we have to think for the future. We have to think science. We have to think robotics. We have to think about space, things like that, and how we could get there, how we could do that. So before we go, I want to give Brother Francis this opportunity to express more about his views and about the show and about where we go from here. And one thing is, how could we bring all our people together? Because that's what everybody wants to hear. How could we bring all our people together?
Thank you very much. Last year, I came to the US. A lady gave me a book about the colonization of New York and Manhattan. When I delved into that book, a lot of things I saw in there really helped me to reshape my thinking about the diaspora. And some of the things that I used to think of the diaspora, the book really helped me. One of the things that I read from the book is that during those days, when you have 2-3 Black people together on the same job, by the time you realize they're able to plan something that is mind-blowing. So they made laws to make sure that you don't have more than 4 black people on the same job. Later, they even reduced the number to 3. Some of these things work together with time, with passage of time. It became a culture, a way of life. And therefore, it is difficult pulling black people together, rallying them around an idea. So Nkrumah stood at Addis Ababa and prophesied, we unite today or we perish. And that prophecy has been fulfilled. Because where we are right now, the moment you show face that you want to do something for Africa, Gaddafi tried. Where is it right now? Nkrumah tried. Where is it right now? Jomo Kenyatta and all of them. This guy from Congo.
Rico.
Yes, all of them.
Mulumba.
Yeah, Patrice Lumumba, Olympio of Togo. You know, Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. All the great guys who saw the vision and decided to act on it. Nkrumah had already prophesied to them. Forget about your own individual powers that you have. It amounts to nothing. Let's come together and unite and have operate. America is strong because it's a United States of America.
A state of America.
Russia used to be strong because it was the Soviet Union.
USSR.
Britain is strong because it's a United Kingdom. Who are we? We are, you know, so that's one thing that I saw. I saw another thing, that the first mutiny that took the British Navy 8 working days to bring under control was a group of 12 slaves from a small village in West Africa called Kromanting, who staged the first mutiny in because they saw that where they were in Africa, the slave trade, there was slavery in Africa, but there were about 3 forms of slaves. The first form of slavery is that when you are a condemned criminal, that you have killed somebody, you must die. That slave kind of slave, you work, you don't earn any wages. That one is there because you are waiting to be executed. The second form of slavery is when your own people sold you to another group. And even with that one, the family that bought that slave, they give you a parcel of land to work on. Whatever you grow is for yourself. If you behave well, they gave you a member of their family to marry. So with time, you and your children become part of that family. So later, nobody even knows that you joined the family as slaves. The third one is when your father has gone to borrow money and you couldn't pay. So you can use to go and work for them for a stipulated time. And when that time is over, you come back to join your family. When they came to America, New York, and they saw the kind of the slavery our black people were going through, it was quite different from what it was in West Africa where they came from Kromanting. You know, you work day in, day out, no end, no wages, nothing. And people are enjoying on your sweat. So they staged the first mutiny ever. So I learned there's a street in Manhattan, in New York, that is called Kromanting, and another one in Haiti or so that is also named after them, because these guys are from a small village, but their value system and everything is amazing. All of this have made it difficult for the diaspora to rally around an idea. Look at our top-notch sportsmen and the musicians and the entertainment industry. These guys are rich. Why are they not able to hold hands of others and put them up? And we are buying expensive chains, expensive vehicles, expensive this, expensive that, making the manufacturers rich and our people still being poor. You know, why are we not able to rally around? What I think the diaspora should look right now is, what is it that is putting it asunder? What is it that is perpetually dividing us, that we can't rally behind our own idea? The most miserable thing is that the white people didn't come to overthrow Nkrumah. It is Nkrumah's own black men. The sad thing is that the European and the American didn't go to kill Thomas Sankara. It is his own bodyguard. So we are not able to rally around our idea. We are not able to unite. I think that if there's one thing that we need to do, is to find what is it that is perpetually dividing us. that we can rally behind an idea. Over 2 years ago, the flag of the 6th economic region was launched at the Du Bois Center. I was there. Why is it that the mainstream media is not talking about it? Why is it that even the African diaspora, we are not even aware that the AU has created an economic bloc or economic region called the 6th region for the diaspora? Why are we not aware? Why are we not talking about it? Last year when I came here, I wrote letters to Black Senate and Black borough presidents, county presidents, commissioners. I wrote letters to them that there is something called 6th region, 6th economic bloc. Let's go and take advantage. Recently, a Lebanese had their grandfather's company collapse in Spain. He was able to raise $4 million from Ghana to go and revive a company in what do you call it, in Spain. The money is even in Africa. You don't even need to bring any money from anywhere. Just come with your ideas and come to Africa. And we are able to generate the money right in Africa to sustain Africa. And finally, Chief Timothy, I wasn't promoting or pushing the idea that the energy sector should have a bank, the agricultural sector should have a bank. No. What I'm proposing is only one central bank from the diaspora, one bank from the diaspora that is targeting construction. There is construction in the energy sector. There's construction in the railway sector, in the education, in agriculture. Every sector of the economy requires construction. So if you have a bank that its major focus is on construction, that bank shall succeed. Yeah. And I want to see the diaspora taking that bull by the horn, you know. So that's my proposal. Then finally, I will also want to see, to thank you for this brilliant opportunity, this brilliant platform, and a decision to talk about democracy. I believe that it was when Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah traveled to the United States of America to study. That is where, because when he was leaving Ghana in the 1930s, we were under British colonial rule. In fact, the British ruled Ghana for 113 years, and they exploited us in every dimension. So when he came to America and saw American democracy and saw the power in the hands of the people to make changes through voting and other decision makings at the various levels of governance, he became excited. And then he joined movement. He joined he connected, network with the right people. He went back home with a fair idea of how to rally people together to make a change. And that's how he started with the UGCC. Later, he broke away to form the Convention People's Party, which I had the honor of becoming the national youth organizer at a point in time. And then in 1957, he led us into independence. By 1966, he was overthrown by a military junta. And then the military people took over. So we have seen the colonial rule in Ghana. Even before the Europeans came, our chiefs were ruling their various kingdoms. There were a lot of kingdoms in Ghana, and that also encouraged tribal wars and all manner of unrest. People want to expand their territories. People want to arrest people and sold them into slavery. So that one was also there. We saw that one. Then when the British took over as our colonial masters, we saw the exploitations that went on. The attempt to take over our land and place them under the Queen of England. We saw all of that. And then when finally we won independence and we saw democracy at work, we also saw the beauty and the taste of democracy. Then later, when Nkrumah was overthrown and the military people took over, we also saw military dictatorship and what the forms and shape of it before where we are right now. And for us to even migrate from military dictatorship to multi-party democracy as we have today, America played a lot of role. Using diplomacy, using sanctions, using what do you call it, humanitarian, all manner of strategy or tools were deployed by the United States of America. And I must say that we are so grateful to the United States of America for helping us to find our foot with democracy as it is in Ghana today. Whatever it is right now, It is an American type of democracy. We use the presidential system. Although we are former colony of Great Britain, we don't use the parliamentary system as it is in Britain, but we use the American system, so you could see the influence of America on our democracy. And for that, we are grateful. But like we said, there are other rough edges. The monetization of our democracy, the winner takes all, and all of that are rough edges that it is our responsibility and not America to make it straight and smooth. Thank you, my brother, my brothers.
Well,
Thank you.
I like the point that you made, because I always say we can't have everybody. We can't take everybody with us. We can't save everybody. People, we're going to give people the opportunity to come willingly and freely, not try to force our beliefs on people. So by what all these different people need is a working model. They want to see something great. Like you guys see America. Oh, America's great. You know, we want to be like America. That's why we need to make Ghana use Ghana as a test market and a working model and show people, look, this is how great the rest of Africa could be. Look at Ghana. And I think that's how we start the ripple effect, is just by finding one country that we could work with and build this country up to the greatness in Africa and make other countries envy this country like they envy and want to be like America. Be like, no, you don't have to be like, you could be like your own brothers and sisters right here in Ghana, you know? And you could keep your own value system, your own culture, your tradition. All, you know, just that's how powerful the democracy is. Democracy lets you keep your own religion, your faith, your culture, and everything, you know? So I think that's one way that we could get people without even having to force our will on people. You know, we already have the people in Ghana doing it. You know, we have even like other countries like Nigeria, you know, and Kenya, they all are rich countries, you know, they're doing well. You know, we could work with other countries that share ideas and help them build up, and then it'll be a ripple effect all throughout Africa. Just find one country, like I say, you brothers, we can give you the tools you need, help you build your own country, and that's what America is all about. It's helping other countries build. And I always say that when Jesus said, "Whose face is on that coin?" That's what it's all about. It's keeping our people down. We got to get rid of that mentality of, if somebody eating, somebody starving. It don't have to be that way. We could share the wealth. And that's what this bank that we have, and I keep telling you about, it does. All we have to do is share the wealth. Let people have the opportunity to make money. And it all starts with the leaders in place. Be like, let them know we have this currency. We want to come in. We want to help you feed your people. Like you were saying with the humanitarian aid before, and how thankful you are of America. We just got to keep repeating this humanitarian process and showing people, look, it's not the democracy isn't bad, it's your leaders are bad.
True.
Before we go, Brother King Vajan, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I am very excited for today's episode. Just like every other one, always informative, man. And Timothy, you will share the contact of that brother with me immediately after the show, if you will, because he agreed with me about democracy. He says something that I want to repeat it again for everybody watching us. If you think that democracy is not good for your country, try military rule. Try the monarchy form of governance. Try all of that and see. And anybody who is out there kicking against democracy, they know what they are doing. So, and I encourage people just go on Amazon and get a copy of my book, the 40 Voters Commandment. This is all about giving people power. And I wrote one for Africa, and I wrote another one for America. The one for America is actually just like appreciating their democracy, and it has some loopholes. But then they have tried. They have tried. And the one for Africa, I am actually calling on the African masses to get up and take democracy. We should not allow it to die, because if we allow it to die, these wicked, cold-hearted people would take us back into the days of colonial masters. So, and before I go, I just want to say something. When our brother was trying to explain, he lamented about our ability to unite. And he spoke about how on the plantation, they will make sure that there are not more than 5 or 3 black people. There is a saying that when slaves begin to talk to each other, their freedom is on the way. Now, we have the freedom. We are talking to each other. I am sitting here in Johannesburg, South Africa. You guys are in America. We can be able to connect with somebody in Colombia. We can be able to connect with somebody in Europe. What we can do is just unimaginable. We can be able to create or rally people around us who will believe in what we are preaching. It is so possible on so many levels. And once again, I am just so glad that I am part of something like this. I know that we are heading somewhere, and one day the younger generation will thank us that we did something. I thank you.
You know, one of the most important things about democracy is that if we don't like something, we could change it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Period. If we don't like a law, if we don't like a leader, all we have to do is vote and change it.
Yeah.
Simple. We don't have to go to war. We don't have to fight. You know, just be diplomatic. That's why it's called a democratic process. They call it. Use the democratic process, and that's what's so beautiful about America. And we don't even appreciate that. And why I'm so glad that God told me to put together this platform to come on here and inform people about how great America is and the things that we don't appreciate, we need to appreciate. And I'm always happy and grateful to have such an honorable and wonderful, amazing guest on the show. So thank you, Brother Francis, for agreeing to come on the show. And thank you, Brother King Fajan, for being my wonderful co-host. I always love your passion and how passionate you are about the cause. I hope great success for both of you brothers. I plan on calling on all the guests to be on one show. And I know it's real powerful. And
maybe if that, Mr. Timothy, I'm thinking if that is possible, that would be when I am in America, that we could actually like not connecting online, but connecting on the round table.
Okay, yeah.
The 4 people that you've brought here, every one of them blows my mind, man. Like I'm just looking at Francis. So yeah, that would be power. Maybe if we have interviewed 10 people, then we can do that.
I have so many amazing guests. We have a brother that's going to be on the show who actually put the Hubble telescope in the sky, the satellite in the sky. So I'm going to see when he's going to be on the show. He's actually working with us to help build the diaspora, actually. So everybody that's coming on the show are actually going to be partnered up with us if they're not already partnered up with us to help build the diaspora. So I don't call this a talk show because we don't just talk. You know, we actually do what people are talking about and wishing they could do. So once again, to have you on as a guest, brother. I'm honored to have you on as a co-host, Brother Fajan. And thank the audience for tuning in as always. And we hope you guys tune in again to our next show. And we're out.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Enjoy your day, Brother Francis. And like I said, we'll be in communication again shortly.
Sure.
You're not part of our family, close to our heart. You are truly our brother. We're not just a word.
Thank you.
We consider you family now.
Thank you.
And we will be working together, doing some great things.
Sure. I'll be in America. I'll be in New York until 30th of September. So I'm around. If anything, just get me posted. I'll be fine.
Well, let's connect you with the Queen Mother Blakely from Ghana, who's at the United Nations. You know, that's the first thing we have to do because she has some wonderful projects and start connecting you with our people. And I'm actually hoping that you could help us work with the marathon I was telling you about. And then when you go back to Africa, we want you to be a part of the currency, helping get that currency that we're talking about to create the bank. Because with your educational background and the cultural science, you're like one of the perfect people to be on that team.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to make it happen.
Of course.
Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you.
God bless. I'll be talking to you, brother, soon. Let me go.
Thank you.
Be with my family now. You guys enjoy your family and the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a nice one. Thank you very much. Okay, Francis, I will communicate with you.
Sure. I look forward to it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Have a nice one. Ciao, ciao.
You too.
And roll out and we are blaze up the place now. Boy, I want to pretty video right now. I want it on the maddest and wickedest.
When you drive Marty boss, why head get bust? Some of them skull get tossed. From the line them cross, them death get close. In a blood them post, they body dead in a dust. Traps coming up from me force. Me is a man when no boss. Car when the rage get close, bullet a fly through nose. Only per life get lost. Body shred.